Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening everyone, thanks for joining us. First tonight, Tasmanians will soon be able to commute for free on all public buses for the next 5 weeks. The state government will foot the bill at a cost of $2 million. It's to help ease cost of living pressures.
As fuel prices continue to soar, many Tasmanians are feeling the pinch at the Bowser.
We've noticed the cost of fruit and veg as well as the cost of fuel is just taking a hunk out of the daily budget.
The impact of the global pandemic and Russia's invasion of Ukraine is being felt by Tasmanians far and wide. But from Monday, commuters can ride for free on all bus services for the next 5 weeks.
Yeah, free transport, you can't go wrong with that.
But some say it's not a silver bullet, with limited services in some areas.
Down Middleton, we got, 2 buses a day, and they both arrive at pretty similar times, so it's pretty stupid, really.
While passenger numbers have rolled back since January, Metro hopes the scheme will encourage more Tasmanians to use public transport in the long term.
If it helps with congestion, it helps with people being able to actually get about their lives and do it with, a much cheaper option for them now, with the fares being free for the next 5 weeks.
We'll wait to see how well that program is taken up, but we'll be calling on the government to extend it, because I don't think we're going to see a decrease in fuel prices anytime soon.
We've found a measure that we believe is appropriate for the Tasmanian government for us to be able to provide a meaningful difference to a family budget, but also something that long term is a value proposition with ongoing subsidies going forward of more than $100 million a year.
Tasmanians are still paying upwards of $2.20 at the Bowser across most parts of the state, and while the cost of fuel is expected to rise even further, they'll need to wait until the federal budget to find out if the Morrison government will slash the fuel excise. For now, a switch to buses could be the answer for Tasmanians doing it tough. Ainsley Kosh, 7 Tasmania News.
An 83-year-old North West Coast woman has died from COVID, taking the number of Tasmanian deaths in the pandemic to 28. The state recorded 1,825 new infections today. The number of active cases has now climbed above 10,000 for the first time. There are currently 25 people in hospital, 10 patients being treated specifically for COVID. Projects to expand the Royal Hobart Hospital's emergency department have received the green light. Construction is set to begin on a new short stay unit, medical and surgical inpatient ward, as well as the relocation of the cardiology unit.
Capacity for our health system, of course, and patient care and amenity.
The first stage of the $50 million construction will begin next week, with the aim of being completed by December 2022. 2 Liberal frontbenchers have come under fire for refusing to personally apologise to a victim survivor of child sexual abuse after they were accused of groaning in Parliament when a question was asked about Tasmania's Commission of Inquiry. Opposition leader Rebecca White asked Michael Ferguson and Elise Archer to apologise during question time at the victim's request.
We are still waiting for them to apologise. It shouldn't come to this. They should do the right thing, the only thing, and apologise to that victim survivor who is deeply offended.
I do support the Premier's apology. The government has a great sensitivity and desire for victim survivors to get justice, particularly through the Commission of Inquiry.
Elise Archer was absent from the chamber when the Greens raised a censure motion against both ministers about the issue. A faulty car engine is believed to have caused the massive blaze which tore through Guildford Young College. The school's Glenorchy campus was closed to students today. CCTV footage revealing the moment the blaze took hold.
Staff at Guildford Young College spent today picking through rubble after a devastating fire tore through the school's trade centre.
We've had people working all through the night and through this morning to get things ready for our students tomorrow.
The damage beyond repair.
Going through the school's accounts, they're estimating around a $10 million loss.
CCTV footage captured the blaze, which started in a car, one of 9 stored in the facility. Fire investigators say it was caused by an overheating engine compartment.
It's an automotive workshop. There's highly flammable materials, there's cars, there's acetylene.
In that building we can't have smoke detectors, obviously, because there's a lot of smoke.
Extinguishing the flames, a tough job for firefighters who spent 9 hours working.
We struggled to get sufficient water to our pumps and our aerial appliance.
The crew managed to save the historic Horton house, but for several students, their hard work has been undone.
There's quite a lot of project work that's probably gone up in smoke.
Students spent the day working from home, but will be able to return to their classes when the school's gates reopen tomorrow. The Trade Training Centre will have to be demolished, but teachers are thankful no one was harmed.
These are tough times. We've got support for everyone in terms of students and staff. But the other message is, look, guys, back to school tomorrow. No, only one day off.
Brianna Boylan, 7 Tasmania News.
Police are investigating a two-car crash that led to a pedestrian being struck in Launceston CBD. The two vehicles collided at the intersection of Patterson and St John Street just after 2 this afternoon. 2 people received minor injuries. The cause of the crash is yet to be determined. A Tasmanian truckie has been charged twice in 2 days in New South Wales. Police allege the 37-year-old was on drugs while driving an unregistered truck on a disqualified licence without carrying his work diary. He was then caught a second time 2 days later, allegedly testing positive for ice. Launceston's health staffing pressures could be eased if federal Labor comes to power. It's committing $2.8 million to deliver a new community care centre in Launceston. The dedicated respite facility would house 6 beds as well as provide training for an extra 90 health workers every year.
Extremely needed. Every aged care and disability care provider are short of staff.
We need those workers and we need them to get the high quality training that I'm confident they'll get through this project.
The Morrison government today unveiled its own $1.5 million pledge for an aged care teaching hub in New Norfolk. The state's teachers' union has reached a short-term peace deal with the state government. A 2.35% pay rise for Tasmanian teachers is now in effect, plus extra flexibility for principals when dealing with staffing issues during COVID. The union and government are still working towards a long-term agreement. Hobart City Council's Planning Committee has voted in favour of placing a ban on new permits for entire homes used as short-stay accommodation to free up more rentals and address the housing crisis. A report will be prepared to determine appropriate variable rates for entire residential properties that are listed as visitor accommodation. 70 years of greyhound racing in Devonport has come to an end. Today's final meet was met with emotion by trainers and punters who now need to travel to Hobart and Launceston until a new track is built at Latrobe.
Dog days are over at Devonport. Wet and dreary conditions heralded the last trip around the track before this site is turned into housing.
It's a bit sad in a way because you feel as though, you've been joined to it for a long time.
Peter Mason has been coming here as long as the greyhounds themselves. His older brother George was a trainer at the very first meet in 1953, helping spark a lifelong love of the dogs.
I can remember coming here as a kid and having to hide in behind the front seat of the car and cover up with a rug to get in the gate because juveniles weren't allowed at the dogs.
While Wayne Main is the track's veteran bunny man. He's in charge of controlling the lure.
No feel, it's just sight really. It's just like driving a SWAT car.
Although it no longer looks like a bunny, one thing's the same. There's little margin for error.
Thinking of something else and next thing the dog's on top of it. Yeah, that's happened a couple of times.
As Devonport says goodbye to the grand old lady of greyhound racing on the coast, the industry is preparing to move to a new track in Latrobe. But some here fear the extra travel to Hobart and Launceston between now and then will force some trainers out of the industry.
It'll suit the big kennels because they have plenty, but the one with only 2 or 3 dogs, they're going to find it hard travelling.
We'd probably put up with it for a good 6 months and then it'll start to see, who's keen and who's not.
With the new track years away, this was the last taste of what's been a lifelong ritual for many.
Sad, I suppose, all the infrastructure and that the racing people have put into it over the years and it's all gone now.
Tom Johnson, 7 Tasmania News.
Rosie Batty has called for widespread change in attitudes towards handling domestic and family violence cases during her visit to Tasmania. The 2015 Australian of the Year delivered a powerful speech on her own experiences at a Family Law Pathways event in Hobart today.
We've still got to change our attitudes and our behaviours before it gets to those critical, highly dangerous incidents.
Her visit comes as the state government introduces new laws on the issue in Parliament this week. Hemp advocates have warned our leaders not to let the opportunity of a $1 billion industry slip by. They want red tape cut to grow investment, claiming current laws treat local farmers like drug criminals.
It's remarkable that such tiny seeds can transform into a plant with so much value.
There's about 15,000 different uses for hemp.
Industrial hemp is fast becoming the go-to product in everything from beauty to foods and fashion. Andy Lucas has even been selling processed hemp fibre as a building material.
I'm on back order now for the next 2 years. Customer demand for this product is absolutely huge.
But those at the forefront of Tasmania's green growth are seeing red.
The one single thing that's holding this industry back is government regulation and legislation.
Permits cost a fortune, plus laws critics say were originally created to stop black market drug growers now act as a huge barrier for local farmers entering the industry.
We have to make it easier for farmers to get into growing hemp.
Across the state, around 40 people are growing the plant commercially. The Hemp Association believes cutting red tape could open up the sector to $1 billion revenue every year.
We could very easily have that in Australia and in Tasmania even, if our laws caught up.
The challenges a focus point of the Australian Industrial Hemp Conference in Launceston today. Public education and marketing are also goals, as the industry tries desperately to banish the lingering stigma associated from its illicit cousin.
Hemp is still seen being confused with recreational cannabis, whereas it's a completely different industry.
Garth Burley, 7 Tasmania News.
AFL Tasmania says this year's TSL season will be competitive despite the growing strength of the reigning Premier Launceston. The teams gathered today for the season launch, and new Clarence coach Peter Ryan says his focus for the upcoming season is giving youth the time to shine.
It's been a long and hard summer, but Tasmania's best footballers are ready to put their plans into practice.
This is a season full of possibilities, full of hopes and aspirations from all the players.
AFL Tasmania are talking up a competitive season. However, reigning Premier Launceston have gone from strength to strength, with the addition of former Geelong player Jackson Thurlow. While at the other end, concerns have been raised about Glenorchy's list. The predicted dominance of the Blues not an issue for the league.
The challenge there is for the teams who are in the lower part of the competition to lift themselves up to that level. That's always been the case in football.
Clarence were one of the few teams to defeat Launceston in 2021. They will watch round one from the sidelines, having been gifted the early bye. The Roos are experiencing upheaval, with Peter Ryan replacing Jeremy Webberley as coach. With a younger list on hand, the mentor is challenging his players to step up.
It just gives other guys on our list opportunities to step up and show us and the broader public what they can do.
They say contested footy will be a focus.
Trying to win the footy at the coalface, and then obviously our skill execution.
And it's not really a lot different to what Jez tried to implement, so we're going to adjust quite well, I think.
John Hunt, 7 Tasmania News.
It's crunch time for the embattled Bridport Football Club. The NTFA is heading to the Coastal Club tonight to sort out what options the team has amid a chronic player shortage. One option being floated is fielding a single senior team. The NTFA season is less than 2 weeks away from starting. In the meantime, Tasmanian Tigers interim head coach Ali De Winter has confirmed he won't apply for the full-time role. De Winter will take charge for the final time tomorrow when the Tigers host Queensland in the Sheffield Shield at Blunston Arena. The veteran assistant jumped into the hot seat last year after Jeff Vaughan left to join the men's national side. While appreciating the experience, he says the time is right.
This is rekindled a lot of things in terms of coaching for me, so I've still got a lot to give, but it just won't be in the head coaching space.
Peter Siddle is being rested for tomorrow's clash, while Matthew Wade and Ben McDermott will also be missing. And it will be a busy weekend for Bunston Arena, with the ground to also host a historic event on Sunday. Cricket Tasmania has confirmed the WNCL final will be played at the venue, with the Tigers looking to win the title for the first time. The coach says playing at home benefits both players and supporters.
We're just, over the moon. We don't want the extra flight either. So hopefully we can get lots of home fans to come and support us, which hopefully will be the first ever WNCL title.
Tasmania will host South Australia after New South Wales lost to Queensland by 62 runs today.
Good evening. Hobart and Burnie 17 today, Launceston and Devonport 19 as temperatures slipped a little bit, some up to 5 below average. Flinders Island the maximum with 21, St Helens and Friendly Beaches 20, Low Head and News 19, Grove and King Island 17, Strawn 15 degrees. Not a lot of heavy rain today, but persistent showers as this cloud moved all over the state. A cold pool of air is just to our southwest. Cloud linked to severe tropical cyclone Charlotte is to the northwest of the country, linking to a band through central Australia. Tomorrow, the front moves to our east as a high pressure ridge extends across the bight. Troughs linger over the north and northwest, and the cyclone is expected to weaken. West to southwest winds at 20 to 30 knots, increasing to 35 knots over the south and southeast. Swells up to 4 metres in western and southern waters. We have a gale warning from Wineglass Bay to southeast Cape, a strong wind warning for waters between southeast Cape, around the west and north through to Banks Strait. Forecast for tomorrow, 17 in Hobart, partly cloudy, 16 the high, with a shower or two clearing from Geeveston. Bothwell a possible shower, 14 the maximum. Launceston 20 and partly cloudy, Devonport 18, 19 the top for Cressy. Burnie expecting a high tomorrow of 17 degrees and partly cloudy. A shower early for Strawn, 17 the top as well, 19 the high for Curry on King Island. St Helens, partly cloudy and 20, partly cloudy for Swansea and Orford as well. UV down a notch to 6 tomorrow. On Thursday, cloudy through Bass Strait, partly cloudy elsewhere, but showers for the west. Fine on Friday, sunny over the east coast with once again a shower over Strawn. And on Saturday, a fine partly cloudy day with light winds. 30 and sunny in Perth, 22 in Adelaide, a light shower clearing from Melbourne. Showers for Canberra and Sydney, but sunny and warm up the Queensland coast. Cloudy at the moment, 16 degrees in Hobart, 16 in Launceston, and in Devonport, 16 degrees. Kim, a bit concerned about your coughing fits tonight. Now, I'm on holidays next week. If you go out and get tested this evening and don't turn up for the next couple of days, I'm going to be very concerned.
Talk about alarm, everyone. I am actually off for the next 2 days, and it's nothing to do with my cough. I do apologise to the ears at home that had to deal with that. That is all your news for now. As always, thanks for your company. I'll see you on Friday, and we'll see you tomorrow. Good night.